Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening on The Experience. I'm your host, Steve Fox, and joining me this evening is a gentleman by the name of Richard Stephen Breen, whom is a representative and actually the manager of Circles of Wisdom Metaphysical Bookstore in Andover, and he has numerous talents. However, tonight he is with us as a rune stone reader. I know very little about rune stones, as I'm sure many of you may as well, and he's going to be here to help us tonight to understand them a little bit, learn about where they came from, and do an example of what a rune stone reading would be. We are broadcasting live, and we're going to include your phone calls, so if you'd like to give us a call, you can do so by dialing 978-343-3130, or if you'd like to send us an email and comment on today's show, you can email us at experience@fatv.org, and we're also on the web, so you can visit our homepage at www.fatv.org/experience. Richard, welcome.
Thank you
for coming all the way out here on short notice to come in and join us this evening. Well, I'll start with the basic question. What are rune stones? How'd they come to be? What are they?
Very interesting question. They go back 3,000-4,000 years as best as can be discerned. They're symbols. Originally they were on wood, sometimes on shells. Most recently they're on stones. I brought a couple of samples from my own collection. This stone comes from outside Merlin's Cave in England.
Oh, wow.
And it's said to hold some very magical powers. And because it's one of 3 locations that Merlin is alleged to have had a cave, it has some energy about it that is very specific. This is what I would call is a female question stone, in the shape of an egg, if you will. The male question stone, something solid to hold on to, is the outward projection of a question. It has little markings on it. These are naturally found. Don't know exactly what these particular markings mean. I've been trying to find out. Rune stones are found at just about every single culture.
Really?
And they're from South American, Roman, German, Nordic, Canadian,
wow,
American, Indian.
Are they all used for the same purpose in those cultures, or do they each have a different meaning? Or
well, it's curious. Long before mass communication came about, these cultures all developed their own symbols, and at least 50% of them are similar, every culture to another. Mm-hmm. So you could find the shape of a Christian fish, for example, which might have been in Jerusalem in that period of time, 2,000 years ago. You would find that in Mayan history. You would find it in Germanic history. The Norse use it. It means different things, but it means basically love, good fortune in each of the cultures from what we can discern.
Wow. Now, are they used, my limited experience has always been used for readings or fortune tellings in some way. Have they always been used for that purpose, or have they been used for, I don't know, say, delivering of messages or some other forms of, or have they always been in that futuristic kind of?
My study of runes follows the Norse tradition most of all, and seafaring captains would often dredge the ocean as they were nearing their home looking for signs. The captain of the ship would be the master of the interpretation of what was found at the bottom of the ocean. It's clear now from the stories that are told that he was looking for certain kinds of shellfish, mm-hmm, or certain kind of stones that would have come from riverbeds and give a history, or with so far away from home. And those of less intelligence, warring men, would interpret it as, oh wow, the master knows. So it was individual symbols that were created to help one person understand, and that person, usually being the leader, would be looked upon for advice, for wisdom. And so as it came to be, the ship captain would also go ashore, and they would come to him for advice.
Some of the ones that I've seen in bookstores now, when I have seen them, they've been sold in a kit where they'd have like a little bag of like 20 stones, mm-hmm, and a book. And the stones would not be as big as this. Usually they're about this big and a little oval with the symbols on them. Is that just a modernized version of what they've come to, or is it more or less uncommon, or common in the United States but uncommon everywhere else where runes are used?
There is a language of runes, and traditionally the ones found in Germany or in Roman or hieroglyphics in Egypt all have the same symbols. Okay. And depending upon the specific designer of the stones, there may be anywhere from 20 to 40 stones, each having a specific meaning. If it's upside down, it means one thing. If it's facing west, it's another. If it's facing toward you, a pile on top of another. There's a series of meanings that can be applied.
Okay, so it's similar to like the tarot cards. If a card is shown upside down, the reverse of the normal meaning could be interpreted as...
I wouldn't say the reverse of the normal meaning, because the set of stones I use is only 14 stones.
Okay. Now, are these stones that you've collected, or are these stones that you've that I don't know, that were purchased? Like these you've collected, and I don't know if these are used in conjunction with those. Can they be used with? I
use these as display. I have a large set that are all large stones like this. I just chose to bring a couple. These stones here that I made myself, I found them in spiritual places. I prayed, if you will, over them for their information to be released to me.
So for each particular stone, before you actually engrave the stone?
Yes.
So the stone is telling you, or in a sense, the stone is saying what symbol it wants to?
Yes.
Wow.